guys, welcome back to another video. So we are starting a new series, and in this series we are going to be talking all about cesarean section. And in case you don't know, I am a mom of two girls and I had both my girls via C-section. And here we are going to be discussing some of the things you need to know about C-section. Now I have my topics written down and I'm going to be telling you what to expect in this series. So we're going to talk about preparing for a planned C-section, what to expect and how to prepare. We'll also be talking about C-section recovery, tips and self-care for new moms. We'll be talking about breastfeeding after a C-section, the challenges and solutions. We'll be talking about emotional well-being after a C-section, coping strategies and support. We'll also be talking about body image and self-confidence after a C-section. Also, embracing and loving your postpartum body. We will also be talking about bonding with your baby after a C-section, tips for skin-to-skin contact and connection. We'll also be talking about C-section scar care, healing and minimizing discomfort. Also, exercise and fitness after a C-section, safe and effective postpartum workout. Also be talking about navigating parenting challenges after a C-section, tips for adapting to physical limitation. We'll also be talking about supporting loved ones, how partners, family and friends can offer help and understanding to C-section moms. And we're also going to be talking about sex after having a C-section. So this is some of the topics we will be covering in this series and you don't want to miss it. So click on that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you will not miss any of these topics that will be coming up. In our today's topic, we'll be talking about preparing for a planned C-section. What is a planned C-section? A planned C-section is when you actually sit with your healthcare provider, let's say your doctor, and then you plan to have your baby through a C-section. It is not an emergency C-section situation. It is something that you plan for it, so it's not emergency. When I was about having my first daughter, I had her at 42 weeks. There was no labor. Labor didn't come. I went to the hospital as often as I was told to go to the hospital, yet there was no labor. There was no sign of labor. Even after sweeping, the doctor said that the baby's head was still very high up and it hasn't come down yet. So there was no sign that there was going to be labor. And then I was actually going to be induced. But when I went for my last scan, I was told that my baby is too big for me. My baby is too big for me to deliver and it would be better I opt for a cesarean section, which is a C-section. I was told this news, like I and my husband, we were told this, let's say today, and we're like, okay, this baby has been here for a long time and we know leaving her in there is not quite safe. So we wanted her to come out already. So we told the doctor, okay, let's get into it already. Let's go for the C-section. But the doctor said, no, this is not an emergency C-section kind of a thing. It is a planned C-section. We will have to admit you and then do the necessary things. You know, we are going to take our time to prepare you for surgery. So in that situation, even though we knew that we were about to do the C-section the next day, it was not an emergency kind of thing because I wasn't in labor, my baby wasn't in distress, my water didn't break, nothing at all happened that looked like I was in labor. So we actually planned for the C-section within 24 hours. So that is what it means to plan your C-section. So now we are going to take a look at the planned C-section procedure. First of all, you are going to choose a date. This is usually done by sitting with your doctor and your spouse and then choosing a date that is favorable to you. Date picking is usually between 39 to 40 weeks. In my case with my second born, the date picking was done quite early because I had a C-section less than 2 years before. So the doctor told me that he did not want me to go into labor. My husband and I had to decide, and we chose that. After weighing all our options, we chose to go for a C-section the second time. And because we chose to go for a C-section the second time, the doctor said that we have to choose a date, and it has to be a date that won't be any possibility of labor before the date that we choose for C-section. So we chose a date at around 39 weeks for the baby to be delivered. This date picking was done like at 37 weeks is when we chose a date to when our baby will be delivered. Of course, this is different for everyone. You can choose your date earlier or even later. Your healthcare provider is going to work with you and suggest dates that will be appropriate for you. After choosing a date, it's time for the C-section. Once it's the D-Day, it's time for the C-section, and you will be asked to fast for a certain hour. You'll be asked not to eat anything for about 12 hours. You won't eat anything at all. Once you've done that, you will be prepared for surgery, and preparing for your surgery includes inserting your IV line. They are going to insert an IV line for you, which will be used for the fluid that will be taken into your body, that is the drip. And then they are also going to bring some gowns, clothes for you to change into theater wear, and have your family member, maybe your husband or something like that, with you. All these are in preparation. They are going to ask your husband or your spouse or your partner or anybody that is with you to assist you during the delivery time if your things are complete, and for them to bring out all those things that you need for the delivery. And in my case, of course, there has to be prayers. My husband prayed before I went in for the C-section, and during my second baby, my husband also prayed some, but when it was very close to the time, my husband had gone to get more things that the doctors requested. The midwife prayed for me. The nurse that was there, she prayed for me and told me to be rest assured that everything is going to go on fine, that nothing is going to happen. And then I walked into the theater. When you are going for a planned C-section, you are going to walk with your 2 feet into the theater. Nobody is wheeling you because you are perfectly okay, unless you can't walk. But as for me, the 2 times I went for my C-section, I walked with my feet into the theater. And once you get into the theater, yes, it's time for everything to be done. You're going to start getting your drip there in the theater. You will have a nurse or a doctor. You have a doctor beside you, always talking to you, you know, to keep your mind at ease and keep you awake, okay? Because when you are having a C-section, you might feel drowsy, sleepy. So the doctor is there to talk to you. I remember when I had my first daughter, I told the doctor I wanted to sleep. I really wanted to sleep. I was feeling sleepy, and she told me, no, why do you want to sleep? Don't you want to see your beautiful baby? Wait for your baby to come out so that you will see your baby before you sleep. So she was keeping me engaged. I had long hair then before I cut my hair. She was talking about my hair. Hope your baby is going to come out with this full hair. Your hair is beautiful. All these are conversations that they usually have to keep the mother at ease, especially whether it's the first time. You know, there is always that tendency of fear, whether it is first time C-section or second time, third time, you know, they're always there to talk to you, telling you not to calm down, you know, if you're not calm. So they are always there. There is someone there, while the other people will be around you during the procedure. Of course, first of all, anesthesia will be administered to you into your spinal cord. They are going to numb your body from your chest below your breast like this down to your toes is going to be numbed, but your hands like this up won't be numbed. So that is the job of the anesthetics. The anesthetics is going to come and administer anesthesia, and then after a few minutes, the procedure will begin. And in my case, after the anesthesia and the procedure begins, it doesn't even take up to 15 minutes for the baby to come out, for you to hear the cry of your baby or your babies, depending. After that, the one that takes the longer time is the stitching back and the whole of that. But for baby to come out, baby comes out very, very fast during a C-section. And of course, your baby will be scrubbed, or brought to you depending on whatever you signed up for. If you signed up for skin to skin, your baby will be brought to you for you to do a skin to skin contact, or your baby is going to be scrubbed and then brought back to you or taken to your room, okay, depending. Okay, it depends. I had different experiences with my 2 kids. After the whole stitching has been done, you'll be wheeled back into your room or your ward, where you will go and stay with your baby. Of course, they always take the baby away from the theater during the stitching process. The stitching process is quite a long process. So the baby will be taken back to the person that is there to assist you, be it your husband, your sister, your mom, just anybody that is there to assist you. The baby will be taken to the person to be with the person till you are out of the theater. And when you are out of the theater, trust me, you are not going to feel anything from your chest down. You feel so heavy, like I felt so heavy. And then I missed out one thing. The drip that is usually administered during the C-section brings chills. It causes chills, like as if you are in a minus 50-degree situation or even minus 100. Like you are going to shake. You are like, for me and for some other people's experiences, you will find yourself shaking vigorously. That is how I was shaking after my C-section, like both of them. I was shaking seriously. Even with all the duvets that was put on my body, it was still very cold. So when you are taken back to the theater, of course, you still be shivering and shaking, and then you will be transferred from there to your bed. Of course, this part is not painful. You just feel they are moving something. You just feel like they are moving something that is attached to your body, but there is no pain. As I was feeling, like it's not really a good feeling though, it's not, but you just feel you'll be moved into your bed, and then you will be cleaned, catheter inserted, and all of that will be done for you. And then you are going to lie down there. They'll allow you to rest for a few minutes. You're not just going to rest because the nurses will come with the baby. Of course, the baby will be crying by now. The baby has seen the world. The baby has taken breath. The baby wants to eat. Okay, so the baby definitely wants to suck, and they're going to bring the baby to your breast for breastfeeding. As for me, that is what happened. I was asked to breastfeed my baby immediately, even though it's not something that I wanted to do, because, oh, excuse me, I just came out from the theater. Wait, can you just give me a minute? But no, I wasn't given any minute. My baby was attached to my breast, like this, the left side of my breast immediately. Oh, and the little one started sucking vigorously. Story for another day. The little one started sucking vigorously. Don't worry, we are going to cover breastfeeding. This is just the planned CS kind of a thing. Okay, so after which you have your baby, you are in good condition. Now it's time for you to recover, and of course you will start taking your medication immediately. And it is very, very normal for the breast milk not to come out immediately. Of course, it's not going to come out immediately. So the baby needs to suckle and suckle and suckle for little drops to start coming out. Breastfeeding is another one on its own. We are going to cover breastfeeding separately. So after your C-section, you are going to be given a lot of painkillers. Like you're going to be given painkillers upon painkillers, because you just had a major surgery. A C-section is a major surgery, so you are going to be given painkillers that is going to relieve or reduce the pains that you feel from your incision. You'll likely stay in the hospital for a few more days, maybe 2 or 3 days, if you do not have any complication or your baby doesn't have any complication, and you will be discharged from the hospital with more painkillers. Your painkillers will be converted from drip form to oral, because when you get back home, you are going to be swallowing your painkillers. It's no longer going to come through your drip, so it will be converted to oral. Your plaster, the plaster put over the incision, will be taken out, and then you will be free to go home. But as you are going home, anyways, recovery is different for everybody. My recovery might be different from your own recovery and from another person's recovery, but no matter how you recover, you are going to recover, have your baby, and be back to your normal self. But ensure you follow the best practices after having C-section in order to recover properly, safely, and in a healthy way. In summary, preparing for a planned C-section is all about understanding your choices, your preferences, and communicating them, and knowing what it is that is expected of you, or maybe what is going to happen. Sometimes you won't really understand all these things until you experience it yourself, but this is going to act as a soft landing in case you are preparing for a C-section and you need this content. This is going to act as a soft landing for you, because of course you already know what to expect. As for me, during my first time, I did not know what to expect at all for my C-section. I would say it wasn't planned, because we didn't plan to have the baby for through C-section. It just happened, and we had to decide within 24 hours what we wanted to do, and we chose the C-section as the safest option that we had at that time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, this is a series and you do not want to miss it, so turn on the bell notification, hit on the subscribe button, and share this video with someone that might find it helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to watch my next video.